discussion to further elucidate their findings.
We are honored to have Professor Smita Gaurav as our esteemed session moderator. Ma'am has done data science from IIT Madras and MTech from VIT West Varanasi. Without further ado, let's commence our exploration into the new revolution of Industry 5.0. We would like to invite our first presenters, Dr. Priyanka Srivastava, Shalu Kaushal, and Anjali Shukla to enlighten us with their research on the topic and investigation on customer contentment by Rapido.
भाभी ने देखा यही होगी मे भी यही होगी वो मे भी हमने
उनकी जो भी सेकंड नहीं है इसमें कौन ये
Good morning, I am Anjali, and today we are delighted here to present present our research paper on the topic and investigation on customer contentment by Rapido. So, to begin this session,
प्रेजेंटेशन है उनके पास चेंजर वो उसके पास है वो करेगी
Rapido is an Indian startup which was launched in 2014.
स्नेहा नहीं है
It provides bike hailing service and taxi ride services, and it also has extended services to auto rickshaws. Right now, it is the leading transportation service provider in India, and it is operating in more than 100 cities, and it is famous due to its affordability and practicality. Rapido. The investigation aims to analyze customer contentment with Rapido service. Customer satisfaction is something which every business tries to achieve. In case of Rapido, customer satisfaction, they conducted many studies to achieve this aim of customer satisfaction. This investigation will examine what factors affect the customer satisfaction and conducted a survey which will contain inquiries regarding the cost of rides, affordability and convenience of the app. Next.
टोटल सेशन में नहीं देते
स्नेहा
नहीं है
कॉल भी उठाया
A study was conducted in 2023 by D. Shan Mukavadel. This study discussed
it is what it is
on the perceptions of Rapido bike taxi customers in Coimbatore. The results show that the majority of clients were satisfied with the service, citing dependability, cost effectiveness, and convenience as the most important characteristics. Then, in 2023, again a study was conducted by Dr. T. Prabhu Venkatesh. The Rapido app was the subject of this study, where customer satisfaction was evaluated, how much Rapido app is useful and whether it is well liked by the consumers or not, its dependability, cost, convenience, serving as its three main selling points. Next.
In 2022, Ankit Pavel and J. Davis research looked into the dissatisfaction customers derived from the Rapido bike and taxi services. The major proportion was The major proportion of customers were happy with its services, reason being convenience, price, safety, and security. In 2022, Wang and Sham investigated the impact of personalized service in success of ride-hailing sector. The results indicated that tailored recommendations and customized experiences increase customer satisfaction. In 2019, Dr. Latika Ajit Kumar Ambani results showed that safety and convenience were the major factors that influenced customer satisfaction. In 2019, we at TED explored the relationship between mobile application and customer satisfaction. The research drew attention on the user-friendly features, intuitive and convenient user interface, and the convenience and smooth booking processes which improve the customer satisfaction. In 2018, Avinash Khade and Dr. B. Patel conducted an investigation in which in Pune they looked into the success of Ola and Uber and conducted the survey to derive the factors that influence the customer satisfaction. And major factors were safety, dependability, and cost. And the convenience sampling method was used. And both primary and secondary data were used for the investigation. Research methodology. The type of data used were both primary and secondary. We conducted a survey in Delhi NCR, which is this area, and Indore and Khandwa in MP. We used Google Forms, in which there were 127 respondents, and 40 were the personal interviews, like the people we found on metro station who used the services. And all their information was used to find in the findings of the research. That were used for pie charts and bar charts.
अरे वो recommend मैं recommend कर देता हूँ फोन कर ना
Yes.
वर्षा का नंबर वर्षा है ही नहीं
And we just use the bar charts, like
English man is for real. We have English man.
तो यार नहीं इसलिए नहीं करेंगे ये भी नहीं करेंगे ठीक है आगे बढ़ो
Russian and phone उठा रहे हैं
when we only used the Google Forms because the information we had, it didn't include any sort of numbers or analytics, so the questions were very subjective. So do we go back to Ella?
So the findings which were drawn from the research paper were that a majority of the customers were pleased by the services which the Rapido provides. Safety and ride quality were the two main components of which measured the customer satisfaction. The offering promotions, cutting waiting times, and ride qualities, cost effectiveness were some of the suggested ways by the customers to improve the customer satisfaction. Many positive comments were received regarding suitability, simplicity, and the usefulness of the app. So the uh, overall the findings drawn from the study suggest gave us strength and weaknesses where we can improve, and many other taxi services in India will also improve. Next, suggestions and recommendations which were drawn were continuous implementation and development of training programs for the riders to improve their quality of service, cutting waiting times, and customer interaction. The development and implementation of better app navigation, customer support, so that it can boost customer satisfaction. Many customers were complaining that in rural areas there are less availability of drivers, which can be resolved by Rapido by expanding their network of drivers and giving them incentives to serve in the unserved areas or rural areas.
In your sample, that was not talking about any rural areas. From where did you select your data for those lines?
So that point we have added that is not mentioned in the PPT.
Which is a rural area.
Khandwa MP. Majority of the area is rural area.
Proper district.
So, but it might be containing some outskirts. Some addition to the recommendation and suggestion, rides should be feasible for lower income groups, middle class. Rapido should work more on gender biasness. The Rapido pass should not expire when not in use. Conclusions. Due to the digital transformation rather than manual booking, people prefer online booking, which has become possible by Rapido. As majority of the customers are of working class and have a very busy schedule, so they don't have that much time for manual booking. So online booking and payment has came up as a very feasible solution to the transportation service providers. Rapido may improve its customer satisfaction by cutting waiting times, improving riders' behavior, customer interaction, and quick query handling and customer support.
Sorry guys, but 2 minutes more, please.
To enhance, the Rapido still has a lot of opportunities for the enhancement in field of whether it is riders, payment service, app navigation, usefulness, simplicity, suitability, and a lot of more things. The overall conclusion, no, not in
Any
that.
graph,
No,
the
not,
pie chart you are mentioned, is it present in the slide?
It's less
The overall conclusion of the study is that Rapido is a young company and it has a lot of space for development and has a lot of upcoming opportunities which it can use. It can draw customer feedback so that they can update their apps, its usefulness, and later on a lot of improvements can be made based on the customer feedback. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we would like to invite our next presenter, Abhay Singh, with his topic, Navigating the Digital Shell, a comprehensive study on consumer preferences for e-books.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I'd like to share my topic on navigating the digital self, a comprehensive study on consumer preference for e-books. And today, we all know about the how Yeah, ebook is like a digital version of the traditional books, which we use in kind of like say it's helpful for us to use like increasing the fonts and changing the styles of how we can use it, and in a academic purpose, how we use the ebooks like in a research paper like. When we are using more of the research paper, we try to collect the research paper in every of the corner of the publisher which they are publishing, and it helps to just access by just googling in Google Scholar and Shotganga. It's easy to just type some single word like ebook, and they come up with a different kind of thing. And in the previous yeah, you can see literature review. The author which they are trying to enhance that, Amazon Kindle, when they come up with some kind of devices so that people can easily read without any hesitation, because if we have to carry the books, we have to carry in the bundle of the books like carrying a 7 to 8 kg book weight. In Amazon Kindle, you do not have to carry some of the large amount of the books. Just carry some of the digital like a tablet form, and you can read in a form like you are reading a text, because they come up with some kind of display so that you can feel that you are reading in a textbook and change your thoughts according to that. Because some of the people like me and using a sunglasses, and some of the people who do not focus is able to focus that, and some of the people who like to read books in a night time and do not disturb their family members. So how can they study? Because in a traditional book, you have to you need a light so that you can read. So these are the research paper or authors which I jotted down here, because they are the important one for my research paper. And I have also written most of the 15 to 20 just because of ease of the ebooks. And in a traditional one, we have to always just means collect the different sources of the authors and contact them. Nowadays, we do not have to contact them. We have to just access to the Google Scholar if they have set up some kind of paid subscription, and you can say if you have to access their research paper, you have to pay some of the amount to them. So you can easily pay the amount without knowing that, without they know that you are access that after means giving a digital format. Research methodology, we can say my primary analysis is to know the perception of the consumer towards ebook, and my research primary is the primary data, and I have collected this data in NCR under, and there is a total I have reached 100 participants on that. I have only received 79 of them, because uh, all of them are not responding them now. Secondary data is from Shotganga and Google Scholar, because I do not have access all of them. And data analysis I do from MS Excel, because I have to know where the is there a perception between their jobs, occupations, and they're likely to use their ebooks in the form of their work culture, or in the form means they have used they use read like for fictional and non-fictional. And these are the research or discussion means my finding also. The preference of the ebooks are 69.7, and adoption rate is 84.8. These are the people who adopt the ebooks because of their digital devices. Otherwise, people like in rural, they are not unable to access them. But with the help of ebooks or digital devices, we can access any of the books anywhere we want to read. And these are the preferences. Reading preferences also may vary, because in a device preferences, because if they have device, they can access them. reading preferences can be changed because most of the people read in a traditional method because they people like to read. Like me also like to read in a traditional method, but if you are traveling, if you are a traveler or if you are some kind of means say you are always in outside your hometown, then you have to access to your ebooks format. Like I always read in Amazon Kindle whenever I want. Just I have to log in some of the other accounts, I can access it. These are the diagrams, and some of you can say that the blue lines which is in a high, so it is so that cost of the ebooks maybe today is higher than a traditional book because you can say that people are not ready because if you have a traditional book and means a physical book, why do you pay that much same amount in a format for an ebook? And but it also helps the publisher for because if you publish a traditional book means physical book, you need to change every time whenever there is a mistake. For an ebook, they no need to just publish every time and pay every time for that. So whenever they have to change, they change with the dust and then automatically update it. I also use a Amazon Kindle in where if there is some kind of mistake, I have also noticed if what is something wrong there, then next day I have seen that there is change. So how? Because Amazon Kindle in this they are on a digital platform. You don't have to just always publish and always increase the cost. But some of the, we can say that publishers who are against it because they do not like because sale because of their sales, printing cost. They also need some kind of revenue. So that's why the whenever when Amazon Kindle launches their product like in Amazon Kindle, uh, there is some kind of issue arises by that people can have a eye strain. Yeah, because if you are using devices like this, you are also have a eye strain. But it's also convenient to use whenever you want. Or in left side of the last one, it's which of the following types of ebooks you own means devices. Most of the people come up with a laptop because we are the college students also like to use a laptop, not a smartphone because
हेलो 2 मिनट बाद में कॉल करना हेलो hope I'm audible to all of you hello I'm audible Please let me know whether I'm audible or and visible or not. Hello. My slides are visible. So may I start? Just let me know when I have to start. Huh? Well, a very warm good morning to one and all. I'm Dr. D.P. Mishra, and title of my paper is Securing Academia, a Holistic Framework for Privacy and Security of E-Learning Platforms. So introduction, so we know in an era dominated by e-learning, safeguarding academia environment is a very crucial task. Data security and privacy is a top priority for higher educational institutions due to their susceptibility to cyber attacks. A holistic framework securing academia aimed at addressing privacy and security challenges in e-learning environment. The comprehensive framework or comprehensive approach integrates technological advancement, robust policies, educational initiatives. The framework also underscores the significance of a user education, fostering a cybersecurity culture among students, faculty, and administrators. What is a security framework for academia? So, security framework is nothing but a set of documents, guidelines, standards, and best practices that we have to follow for securing or for the security risk management. It is used to assess cybersecurity maturity for identifying security gaps. It acts as a disaster recovery plan or DRP, or we may term it as a documented, structured approach for overcoming the mishaps or disasters. So in case of framework, so we are having standard set of guidelines, and based on those documented guidelines, we are going to assess the existing infrastructural facilities. We are going to assess the needs and requirements of stakeholders. Based on that, the security plan and measures will be prepared for defending the mishaps happening, and it is also utilized for recovering the mishap. So literature that we have reviewed, the privacy and security is a major concern in e-learning environment, and several studies emphasizes the need of a comprehensive framework. Technological advancements such as encryption protocols, real-time monitoring, and recurrent themes they are covered in most of the literatures. So studies underscores the importance of robust policies. So in almost all the literatures, means they mainly emphasized on robust policies with governance structure and definitely the compliance frameworks. So significance of user education is one of the major important aspect where awareness related to cyber security is emphasized. So here is a block diagram specific to this security risk related or security risk in educational campuses. So most of the things, most of the campuses, they are having major security risk or the major problem related to the compliances. So almost 80 to 90% of the campuses, they are not having the proper security or proper cyber policies. They are not meeting the compliances like GDPR, CCPA, HIPAA, or at present means recently Indian government they launched DPDP 2023. So almost means we may term that 80 to 85% of the campuses, they are not meeting the compliances. It's a major risk. Staffing or operational risk is another major concern. Security or safety risk is a bigger challenge. All these things, they are going to correlate with the reputation of a respective organization or respective institution. Financial risk, they too are associated with all these things. And overall, all these things, they are going to contribute for the risk related to the enrollment in the respective campuses. These are the common types of attacks. Hope all of you are aware of it, and they are related to inside world as well as outside world, like whaling attacks where targeted phishing attack is occurred, ransomware where malware that holds a computer system hostage until a ransom is paid, data breaches or leaks. In this case, confidential data and information is stolen or disclosed without the authorization. So this one is a major concern. Means data breaches are occurring in all the campuses. If the things are not properly managed, definitely it's going to create a havoc. It's going to lead for the peak boosting and other types of attacks. There is an issue specific to denial of service and SQL injection. So lot more things are there related to the security. So our objective is, the objective of Securing Academia initiative is to develop a comprehensive framework to implement advanced technological measures, establish robust policies, promote cybersecurity education, evaluate and adapt the policies as per the requirement or the norms of the respective institution, contribute to the academic integrity, and most important thing is to disseminate the best practices that we have. So here is the methodology that we have adapted, and first one is the literature review. Under this, there's a need to gain in-depth detail of existing privacy and security of a concerned organization. So first and most important thing is we have to analyze the existing privacy policies, existing norms followed by a concerned educational institution for securing the data, for definitely for privacy and security policy. We have to review the things. Then second task is related to stakeholder analysis. In this case, there's a need to analyze the key stakeholders like students, faculties, employees, different departments. So each and every stakeholder is having different sort of roles and responsibilities. So we have to analyze the roles and responsibilities of the stakeholders. Accordingly, there's a thing related to technological assessment. So it's not a compulsion that each and every institution is going to deploy a specific class of security mechanism or security services. So the institutions are from the diverse areas, and they are having their own security mechanisms and security services. So there is a need to assess the infrastructural facilities based on encryption, authentication, and monitoring tools. And later on, it's also needed to analyze the policy. So analyzing present data handling policies and identifying the gap is major important concern over here. So policy analysis and gap identification includes examining the existing policies of a concerned organization or concerned institution, examine data handling privacy and security policy, identifying the gaps and the areas for improvement, develop additional policies as per the need or requirement of a concerned institute or organization, and refine the existing one. Policies and practices should be aligned with Securing Academia initiative in order to provide the appropriate security level to the stakeholders, as well as the e-learning frameworks or e-learning platforms deployed in a respective institute or organization. So here's a block diagram of a holistic framework where there is a need to input the mission objectives of a concerned institute or organization. Second parameter that we have to give as an input is the stakeholders' expectation, then the threat environment, after that the requirements and legal practices, especially related to the compliances that we have to meet, like CCPA, GDPR, DPDP, HIPAA, and others. So most important thing is we have to give these four inputs as an four input to our holistic framework, and based on this holistic framework will govern by identifying, detecting, protecting, and recovering from the specific attack. And for this, definitely this framework is going to apply the appropriate policies to the legitimate users, and based on the consent policies, the profiles of consent stakeholders will be given the proper access of resources or data in secure and confidential way. So examples of security policies. So as I mentioned, it's most important to frame the policies, proper policies for respective educational institution, and it may vary from institution to institution as per the need and requirement. So here's the example of some of the security policies like access control, network security policy, data security policy, physical security, then disaster recovery, password policy, data classification, data retention. So in order to provide the robust access control, definitely we must have to do the provision related to secure policies. We have to deploy the appropriate policies, and as per the need and requirement, we have to refine and change them time to time. There's a need to carry out the security audit. There's a need for data masking. There's a need for disaster recovery and cyber security, and definitely these security policies, which are the part of your security mechanisms, and they are getting regulated by your holistic framework or the framework that we have proposed. They are going to help us out for providing the proper access of data and resources in secure and confidential way. So there are four dimensions of infrastructural security, and they are nothing but people, data, application, and infrastructure. So just take a look. We have different types of people or personnel, those who are interacting with our educational institutions, like we have employees, consultants, hackers, terrorists, outsources, customers, and suspects. So for each and every class of user, we are going to give the access of data. We are going to give the access of data, application, and infrastructures. So as per the rules and regulations, we are planning the organizational policy. These policies, they are getting employed or deployed, and according to that respective policy, the employees get, as an example, let's say example one, employees, they are getting unstructured access for Web 2.0 application, and accordingly, they will get the infrastructural facilities like mobile or cloud. Similarly, in the case of customers in motion, they are getting the data access, they will get the application access like mobile application and all. If we'll come to the outsources, they are getting structured access then of data. After that, they will get the access for system application if needed. So that's an example one. These things, they may change from institution to institution or organization to organization. For enhancing security of network infra, we must have to conduct an IT assessment or audit and do the planning, create or enforce IT security policy, enforce strong password policy, backup our data time to time, always update antivirus software. Means it's specific to our cyber hygiene. We must have to maintain a proper cyber hygiene by updating and patching up the softwares of workstations or servers. There's a need to update the firewall either in 24 hours or 12 hours as per the policy of your institution or organization, auditing, safeguarding of the devices, use of anti-malware applications. So these practices we must have to follow as per the policy framed by us. So here is an optimal network infrastructure recommended for academia. So there's an internet cloud, and in our intranet campus, we must provide the external and internal firewall. There's some issue, I think, please check it out. So this one is the optimal network infra where we are having external and internal firewall. In between, there's a firewall ADS, which is connected with a honeypot device. And from the server itself, means there's a link to our internal firewall where on DMZ port, we are attaching our major servers like database server, FTP, mail server, file server, or the framework or VMITAM that our educational content like Moodle and other servers, they are deployed on this respective switch, and generally we are keeping them on a DMZ port. So either outside user or inside a user, they are going to give their authentication. They are based on their authentication, they are getting authorized for getting the access of the resources, or they are getting the access of key content kept over here on DMZ port. So it may be inside user, then too means inside users, they too have to go to the firewall. They have to give their authentication, and based on the authentication, they are getting authorized for getting the access of key resources that we are keeping on the DMZ port. This honeypot device is used for lubricating our attacker. Overall, means the honeypot is used to deviate the attention or target of the attacker. So it's an ideal block diagram or network block diagram that educational institutions must have to deploy and must have to configure in their educational institution if they are running their own web servers, if they have deployed their own learning frameworks. And definitely we must have to deploy these things on the DMZ port connected with the internal firewall. Here is the security risk and recommendations that we have that's related to ARP cache poisoning and MITM attack. For this, definitely need to install firewall and AV software. For brute force attack, there is a need to have the strong password policy. For cross-site scripting, there's a need to implement security management. For DOS and DDoS, need to improve the authentication, authorization, and confidentiality. For IP spoofing, masquerading, and rootkits, there's digital right management and cryptography training, security professional. In case of for overcoming the things related to SQL injection, input validation, and parameterized queries must be handled. Okay. Yeah, please, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah, integrity stands, ma'am. If we are sharing our data or information from one place to another place, there's a possibility that someone else is going to update or modify that respective data. And for security, for doing the secrecy and or for maintaining the integrity of data, we must have to use the DCs or digital certificates. So before forwarding the data, either we are going to encrypt or encode the data, and encoded data is transferred to the destination end, and later on it's going to get recovered. And for doing the authentication of data, for checking the integrity of received data, we must have to check or we must have to validate the digital certificate that we have used. or we have to verify the digital signatures through which that respective data is signed. These are some of the scopes for future work. It's a user-centric behavioral analytic for user monitoring, cross-institutional collaboration, incorporating blockchain technology, policy alignment with global standards, and some of thank you very much, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
A very good morning to all of you, first of all. Is it visible? My screen is visible to all of you, sir? Hello? Am I audible, sir? Okay, can I start? Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, first of all, very thanks to Dr. Babita ma'am and Ashish Tiwari and Saurabh sir for such an remarkable arrangement and management. So let me start with my presentation. So my topic for my presentation is a paradigm transformation of hotel industry, a study of National Capital Region NCR in India. So I'm working under the supervision of Dr. Azad Singh in University of Guru Kasi University. I'm a research fellow. So if we talk about the introduction, let me talk about the overview of hotel industry. So if we talk about the hotel industry, it's an direct outcome of travel and tourism. Everyone knows about that the travel and tourism is a major industry which participate in Indian GDP and a lot of the employment sections and other sections also. So the hospitality industry is a broad category of fields within the service industry that includes lodging, food and drink service, event planning, theme park, travel management. And if we talk about some figures of GDP, the tourism and hospitality industry is a key driver of global economy. And if we talk about the employment, then it will cover and it was providing 334 million jobs till now, and it is a contribution of approx 10.4 percentage of across the GDP. It's the global, it's the worldwide. And if we talk and compare the time frame of the world and India about the hotel industry, so we categorize the evaluation in three sections: ancient era, medieval era, and modern era. So if we talk about the world, then there is an ancient era, there is an origin of inns, origin of taverns. And in India, I know everyone knows about this. We always use the same thing, Atithi Devo Bhava. So it's our tagline, and it's our like we always welcome our guests like a god or Bhagwan, we can say. In medieval era, if you talk about the world, Grand Tour took place. So Grand Tour, there is a lot of the things which evolve in tourism and hospitality just because of Grand Tour. And in India, origin of dharmsalas and sarai and musafir khanas. And if we talk about the modern era, the industrial revolution took place in the world. So there are a lot of changes after the industrial revolution. There is an start of the wheels, and the travelers just got a chance to travel with a short time with a long distance. And if in a modern era in India, we have, if we talk about the hotels, the Taj and Oberoi took place, and they just make a change and a remarkable change in industry, in tourism and hospitality industry. And if we talk about the scenario, we just stand up after the current scenario, the hotel industry. Uh, Hello, I'm audible. I'm really sorry. The power is shut down. The whole building power is shut down. I'm really sorry for that. Am I audible to everyone? So I can't share the screen because my whole system just got down. Just the power shutdown of the whole building suddenly. Just I can just speak if you want. Can you give me just some time or give me a next chance, if you?
Good morning, ma'am. Shall I carry on till the time Manjeet's system can be up? Yeah, my voice is clear? Okay, so shall I start my presentation? How is it? Okay. Just give me 1 second. Just let me know once you can see my screen. Can everybody see my screen? Okay, thank you. Just give me 1 minute, huh? Yes. Okay. So I'll start. First and foremost, good morning, everybody. It's echoing. Yeah, okay. Good morning, everybody. Very special thanks to the Army Institute of Management and Technology for organizing this very interactive and engaging conference. My topic, my research thesis, is comparison of multiple AI models to predict carbon emissions during the construction of a typical metro rail station building in India infra projects. Special thanks to Dr. Babita Bhati for mentoring, for guiding me throughout this endeavor in formulating the research thesis. So thank you so much, ma'am. So when we look at climate change and carbon emission and global warming as a phenomena in our in this ever-changing world today, construction industry has been a huge contributor for carbon emission, and almost 40% of carbon footprint that gets emitted into the atmosphere is essentially emitted from the usage of the buildings through various sources because of the consumption of of electricity from non-renewable sources and other usages because of which huge amount of carbon is emitted to our atmosphere. Almost 19% of carbon is emitted through the construction of infrastructure in the cities and in the urban areas. But at the same time, the construction industry, especially the infrastructure industry, by and large, is a huge contributor to the economic growth, especially in a very emerging market like ours, like India. Almost 10% of our GDP is contributed by virtue of the construction industry, especially both infrastructure and commercial buildings. As far as statistics goes,
India is the fourth largest carbon emitter in the world, considering the demography and the large, population in our geography. And if you really see, when we look at, the Paris Agreement, there has been a major commitment and agreement made by all the developed and emerging economies that by 2050 we are aiming the mission for the net zero target as far as carbon footprint emission is concerned. My paper basically covers majorly it is basically on considering the metro rail station building in India infra projects, because we can understand that when we look at infrastructure projects in India, there's been a huge capital injection in budget that has been allocated for the construction of large metros. So my paper, basically my research thesis, essentially covers the comparison of various artificial intelligence models like the linear regression model, support vector machines model, the decision tree model, and also combining these models in multiple ways, which we call it as ensemble technique, to predict the carbon footprint emission for a classic metro rail station building. So when I talk about these, AI models which can be combined, there are certain 4 to 5 major combination of these models that are being already used as best practice in some of the larger industries like finance, like automobile, supply chain, etc. And these models are, say, the backing, ensemble technique model, the adaptive boosting AI model, the gradient boosting AI model, the random forest, which is like a combination of multiple decision trees, and of course, then we have the stacking AI model, which is like a combined model of linear regression, support vector machines, and decision trees. My major literature, my study in terms of the journals and the literature revolves around the study and the performance measures of these models. So step by step, I'm trying to study the overall impact of linear regression models, of support vector machine models, and decision tree models. And based on the literature review, these are some of the observations. When we look at linear regression model, which is a very established AI model for other industries, which is based fundamentally on linear equation, that is y is equal to mx plus c. The various literatures that basically articulates the performance evaluation metrics are mean absolute error, mean squared error, least square, such as the R square and adjusted R square. So basically, what the literature says is that once we actually design the linear regression model based on certain input data sets, these models performance can be measured using these 3 to 4 matrix about how well these linear regression models are basically performing to solve a particular output. Similarly, when we look at support vector machines, which is also a very established AI model, which support vector machines are highly effective in terms of its performance because they enable an extra variable. That is basically, if we are trying to solve a problem in 2 dimensions using the support vector machines algorithm, it enables an additional dimension, and basically we can literally visualize the 2-dimension problem in 3-dimension. That's what these literatures basically see. Again, the performance evaluation of support vector machines, the metrics are basically a gamma value, a gamma coefficient, and the complexity, value. Similarly, when we look at decision trees are also very well established in the industry practice, where multiple decision trees basically form a random forest. And again, based on the various study of journals and literatures, the performance evaluation, rather how well a random forest or model basically performs on a particular data set, is measured using the matrix of Gini impurity value, log loss, that is entropy value, and information gain, as we kind of keep branching out and try to formulate the different trees which essentially form the random forest. And finally, the fourth most important aspect, where we are trying to combine these 3 above models, that is the linear regression model, support vector machines, decision trees, together, we basically stack it. So all the 3 models are stacked together in different layers. Like the base model, the level 1, level 2. Say, for example, the base model would be the linear regression model. It will give one prediction, that is prediction 1, prediction 2, prediction 3. Then there will be one more level, where support vector machines can be applied, which will again give a prediction. And finally, we can apply the decision tree for the final prediction. So this is more like stacking and combined models, combining all the major machine learning models to arrive at the final predicted outcome for better accuracy. So my basically paper covers the evaluation and comparison of these models to arrive at the carbon footprint prediction, and finally use the best fit model. The literature study also covers the overall standards and principles that are being applied for carbon footprint emissions, such as the LCA method, where there are two touch points, that is the production and manufacturing of materials such as concrete and steel that are being used for construction, and of course how much diesel gas is consumed by the machines and the equipments during the construction execution process. So these two touch points would be the input data set through which we have to predict the amount of carbon footprint that gets emitted during the construction of a typical metro rail project. The research approach, if you really see, this is a quick snapshot and a model of a typical metro rail station building. My research approach is basically I'm trying to cover as much as possible information and study from different literatures, journals such as Google Scholar, Elsevier, also the library of Swiss School of Business Management, ResearchGate, also the sources of analyst reports such as the World Bank reports, which publishes huge amount of information in terms of global warming and climate change, McKinsey reports, BCG reports, and also the matured markets. When we look at matured markets, Nordics, especially the Nordics, that is the Finland, Denmark, etc., are the countries which are very advanced in terms of its implementation of carbon policies. And finally, the primary and the secondary research of by virtue of conducting online surveys through different channels, personal interviews of specialized individuals in the construction industry, in the artificial intelligence space, and also in the sustainability space, and of course then conducting a focus group discussion. So this is the overall research methodology that I'm adopting. And finally, when we look at the output, that's what is the proposed research outcome and output that I want to achieve. That basically when we have these three models, that is the linear regression, support vector machines, and decision trees, if you really see at the bottom there is a table, okay, which essentially if you see 0 to 10, so there are 11 models that will be developed, okay, and at the the column headers are the performance evaluation metrics of each of these models. So basically there will be like a matrix. The final outcome would be a matrix where there'll be these 10 to 11, 12 models that will be developed, okay, and their performance evaluation score would be published, and the best possible, best fit model shall be the one which shall be giving the most accurate results. That's the whole, output. In a visualization way, the next slide would produce a visualization where you have the station building model, and carbon prediction output is the final output that we want to kind of, evaluate and predict. And these are the models that you see. Linear regression is one of the models, decision trees, ensemble models, which basically combines all the multiple models, random forest, which is again a combination of decision trees, and of course we have support vector machines. I'm going to play a quick video, the next slide, which basically talks about like a heat map of this particular metro rail station building, where there are three colors I have basically illustrated on the materials that emit the intensity of carbon footprint. That is, red basically indicates high carbon emission, pink indicates medium carbon emission, and green indicates low and moderate carbon emissions. So here we go. So this is a metro rail station. If you see, the colors are changing for the different, elements of that particular building. So pink, basically, in the column at the bottom, if you see, there is green. So that is basically low carbon footprint. Then slowly the model will basically capture different aesthetics and different color combination based on the calculation and evaluation of how much carbon footprint these materials shall be emitting during the process of construction. So once the element, basically, the basic color the element would be taking would be, the green color. Then it will get converted either to medium or red. So you can see that most of the steel materials, so the tracks, etc., they are basically have captured, the red color. That is, they are in the zone of high carbon footprint emission. Okay, the one that you see in the green, they are still in the low carbon, footprint emission in terms of the, baseline of carbon, quotient. Okay, the one in the pink, as you see, the exterior facade elements of this particular station building, they are basically taking the color of pink. So those materials are basically lie in the quadrant of, somewhere medium. And this way, basically, we can again have an iterative approach because we are using AI ML models, okay, and combining them. Then these can be basically, performed and evaluated in a more iterative way in the, in the construction value chain. And finally, it can be represented like this for stakeholders to take the right decision to make the appropriate design orientation. So these are the reference, these are the literatures and the reports, and this is one slide I put. There are, two more slides around this. So these are the major literatures and journals and reports that I have studied to arrive and to basically, formulate my research thesis in terms of the literature reviews and to arrive at the, outcome. That's it from my side. Any questions? I'm really happy to address it. And again, special thanks to the entire, Institute of Army and also Dr. Babita Bhatti. Thank you so much for your guidance and mentoring. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, please. Yes, I can hear. Yes, you are absolutely right. First and foremost, I would acknowledge that I am still in the research proposal stage, and I have another almost 2 years to go to complete the entire thesis, around 1.5 years to go. So yes, it is still in the research stage. I would say that currently, yes, I have listed the 3 AI models, that is the support vector machines, that is decision trees and linear regression, which essentially is from the science of supervised learning. So if I study more literatures and journals on, say, unsupervised learning and, say, even neural network, then possibly I would include them as well in terms of in terms of comparing with the other models. As far as parameters is concerned, the parameters are going to be the features that we call, which will be the input data set. That would be majorly, that would be the distance. One, the distance of there'll be 2 distances. One will be the distance of the metro rail station site from, say, the batching plant and the casting yard. There will be one. Second, the distance of the suppliers, that is the cement suppliers and the steel suppliers warehouse. Suppose if the warehouse is located 200 kilometers or 300 kilometers from the batching plant, then that distance will be taken into consideration, which would be somewhere based on certain data that I need to collect based on my research approach. And the other of 1 liter of diesel gas, how much carbon footprint, that is a unit, like 1 liter of diesel gas, how much carbon footprint equivalent it emits, and also manufacturing of, say, 1 ton of cement, how much carbon footprint is emitted, and also manufacturing of 1 ton of steel, how much carbon footprint would be emitting. So there will be around 5 to 6 variables and parameters that will be taken into consideration before we basically arrive to apply the AI models. Yes, sir. Yeah. Correct. Yes, yes, sir. So, sir, as you rightly pointed out, it is the material manufacturing. So there'll be two touch points as per the life cycle assessment framework. The first touch point would be the production, the material manufacturing. Since the cement, steel are used in such high quantity as compared to the other materials, they eventually position themselves as an outlier as compared to the quantity of other materials that is being used in the construction process. And there are EPDs, that is, environmental product declaration reports that is generated by the manufacturers of, say, Tata Steels, the manufacturer of, say, Aditya Birla Cement or Ultratech Cement, where they basically publish the coefficient of 1 ton of cement, how much carbon is going to be, is going to be emitted. So that will be eventually added while I'm quantifying it for the construction process. So it will be two touch points for which the carbon footprint calculation shall be done. And when we look at the construction touch point, where there'll be again two major, touch points that will be taken into consideration. That is the distance. Suppose if we are using Ultratech cement, then and the warehouse of Ultratech cement is suppose 200 kilometers. That is, the factory is 200 kilometers from the site location. Then those 200 kilometers will, how much carbon and how much diesel or gas is going to be consumed during the supply chain and transportation process, that will also be considered. So it is the cement, the steel, the concrete, and the diesel gas. And based on these four materials and the distance, these will be the 5 to 6 parameters that will be considered to formulate the data set, and then these AI models shall be applied. No, sir, it is only for one typical station building. How much? Because I am part of the Indore Bhopal Metro Rail Station project currently. I'm deployed in Indore, and it the way it will be applied is it will be applied for a one typical rail station building. So when we say one typical rail station building, it will be basically the design considerations for that particular rail station would be more or less typical. It'll be consistent. If there are, like, say, 15 stations, out of which 10 stations are going to be typical, then those 10 stations design consideration would be quite consistent and standardized. Sure, sir. Absolutely. As I mentioned, it's still in the ongoing stage. I'll definitely take into consideration and to complete it. Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon all. Is my voice audible? Hi, good afternoon everyone. Today I'll be representing Dr. Usha Dinakaran for the conference. Is my screen visible? Good afternoon all. Good afternoon all the faculty members and students. Today I'm Vansh Tyagi. I'll be representing Dr. Usha Dinakaran for our conference. The title of the conference is so the introduction, let's talk about the ethics, as ethics is a moral and the right, which tells us the right and the wrongs about an individual or organization towards any decision that we take. It is originated by two words, which is called ethos and mores, which comprise of ethics and how to the actions. Businesses must aid by these principles, and then we need to find out how we can have a special practice towards it, how we can avoid adulteration, misleading advertisements, and other malpractices, and have a better quality of goods and service at a reasonable price for our customers as well. In business ethics, there are 7 basic principles that we have researching on, which talks about accountability, care and respect, honesty, healthy competition, loyalty, transparency, and respect for rules of set by the government. Talking about the importance of business ethics, it explains about the deals. It explains and deals with the rightness and the wrongness of how one decision or an action makes it to a business role. Any businessman or a businesswoman in any kind of field needs to have ethics, have a business ethical mindset to providing a better work or the better product to its customers as well as for its employees in a working environment. Some other factors are employee commitment, investment and customer loyalty, customer satisfaction, and greater earning. So these are the review literature that we have started with for research purpose. We can see from 2010 we have started taking our research papers and we are talking about them, and we are researching on how feasible it is to. Hello. On which slide is it, sir? Is it on the review literature slide, sir? Yes, sir. So talking about the review literature, we have, so all the papers have been taken from post 2010, and some of them are pretty back because they were talking about the ethical decision making and how it helps in a decision making and how it helps in a business mindset and business to flourish. So talking about our research gap that we are going to we do is talks about the dilemma in research, that is how to come up with ethical decision making and how to provide such a platform for them. It helps the future research but explore how emerging technology influence the nature of ethical dilemmas and by organization and individuals. The further research is also needed to explore how cultural values, norms, practice, and different kinds of practices shape a decision-making process, on how different cultures find a decision to be feasible and the same decision is not feasible for other cultures. So how to find a striking balance for it. Talking about research methodology, it is so the primary research lies on the secondary data and all the various array of literature that we are talking about, which includes articles, textbooks, periodicals, newspapers, and most importantly, the research papers that we are already shown. So the secondary source is done by a different, like it has a broad and multi-factor foundation. And the systematic review, literature review and analysis is used to research to endeavor this and synthesize and interpret the findings for each and every aspect of a research. The findings and are diverse from sources of research papers and generates comparative insights for all of our research ethics and regarding a topic. Moreover, it utilizes the secondary data, allowing it exploring historical trends, frameworks, and other practice case studies to know and have the decision making and how ethical or non-ethical it can be. So some of the challenges that we knew that we got to know from our review papers and our sources are that corporate governance is one of them. Corruption, bribery that face like a business face corruption, bribery as an ethical dilemma in many of its aspects. Then comes data privacy and security as one of our panel members said also discussed about it. The data privacy and security is much more important. So that is also an ethical dilemma that we face when we are in a business or we're trying to start a business. And also in starting as environmental sustainability as our business, how sustainable in like in towards environment and how sustained can be and how less carbon emission and how less effect will go to the environment in a negative sense. Then we have other things also such as CSR, how we are going to do how the businesses will do CSR, regulation, leadership, and employee relation, which relates to the human resource aspect as well. Some of the ethical frameworks are like also discussing about the highlights will be the leadership roles, organizational culture, risk management, and ethical stakeholder engagement. So the ethical role is leadership role is how the person, the leader of any business, is able to demonstrate integrity, transparency, and accountability, which are the basic source and main aspect of a ethical decision making process. It also we also found about the training education aspect, whistleblowing mechanism, that is how people in the same organization are going and talking about the organization in an unethical manner outside or maybe inside as well. And also a continuous evaluation improvement that needs to be done to have a proper ethical and ethical business action and a process to have a different process for ethical businesses as well. The implication for this is it enhances credibility, reputation for the any business. It helps in having a strong reputation and strong relationship with a long time success. The ethical principles in order to are required in order to protect the dignity, rights, and welfare of the research participants. Employee may make better decision in less time when decision ethics is an organization or guiding principle. This increased productivity and overall employee morale as well. So some of them are reputation management, which talks about the ethical lapse that can be done. So so we need to figure out how the reputation, which has been tarnished, can be can be reverted back. Then legal and regulatory risk that needs to be talking about the government risk or the government law, which might be which we need to talk about and we need to be there. And then customer loyalty, financial performance, and are also one of the part of the implication that needs to be there. Then we come up to comparative advantage, which are also the advantages and the sources of business ethics, stakeholder relationship, long-term sustainability, corporate culture, and risk management. In the end, to conclude the research work, ethics and business ethics is one of the most important aspect of any business who's already been in the industry or who wants to start. It helps with reputation, profitability, and long-term viability as well. The vision of a particular businesswoman towards a business in any industry needs to be towards taking ethical decision and having a decision-making process that is ethical and sets the tone from the start as well for the entire thing, for the entire nation. And it also talks about the corporate social responsibility, which is CSR practices that a organization needs to do. These are the initiative and the considerations the business strategies can help businesses navigate ethical dilemmas, which they can face in their entire year or the entire time, and which they can use, find out from ethical initiatives using CSR practices. Some of the limitations that we came out from these from our research project paper was that there was a lot of generalizing challenges. Every challenge was little generalized, and there were not a fixed and a pinpointed challenge towards it. Then susceptibility to biasness, that there would be a biased decisions, and the data was not particular or right. Then complexity and of ethical decision making. So decision making is a very complex matter. So to find out about it is also a complex matter, and there's also a limitation that would be there for the research paper. And talking and also lack of longitudinal studies that to track long-term effective ethical interventions. Then there's publication bias, resource constraints, and rapid changing business environment. That's all. These are the references. Thank you so much. If there's any question, please let me know. Thank you so much.
Sir, is my screen is visible? Sir, is it visible? Okay. A very good morning to all respected teachers and participants. Me, Manisha, pursuing PhD from the DCRUST Murthal. Today, I'm presenting my paper on the topic synergy between HR analytics and the organizational performance. And then let's start with introduction. HR analytics, also known as human resource analytics, which is called talent analytics or people analytics also, refers to the practice of using data, statistical analysis, and the other analytical techniques to gain insights and make informed decisions about various aspects of the workforce within an organization. It's include gathering, assessing, and interpreting data on HR related topics in order to the spot pattern, trend, and connection that could enhance HR policies, practices, and outcomes. Organizational performance describe an organization capacity to meet its strategic goal and provide exceptional outcomes. Between HR practices and organizational performance, HR analytics act as a bridge. And as per the Afjal 2019, talent and recruitment strategy of the HR department has evolved through time and with technology advancement. This shift in decision making patterns, handling various amount of data for improved strategic decision execution and the competitive advantage. As per the Kirtane, green HR practices, HR analytics, HR metrics, which are utilized in various HRM tasks, are the example of the sustainable HRM practices. As per the Marley, technology and the statistical methods are used in HRA to analyze employees' data and provide business insights from a human perspective. By studying historical data, organization can anticipate issues such as talent shortage, attrition rate, skill gap, that proactive measure to overcome them. As per the Carlson and the Kavanagh, HR might utilize this information to advise changes to the employee's working condition or benefit if the company detect a link between employee job satisfaction and the turnover. Sir, is it moving? By evaluating each employee's abilities and learning requirement, HR analytics personalized training and development also. It suggests customized training courses and evaluate their success. As per Narendra and Mishra, HR decision based on data can aid organization in more effective resource allocation. There is certainly an improvement in the training and development with the help of HR analytics. HR analytics require multi-level departmental linkage, and it is not just a function of human resource alone. It supports manager decision regarding people by gathering, analyzing, and reporting data to support them. It does this by integrating HR functional data with internal and external information analytics. The joint efforts of the company management have consistently shown to be essential for the realization of business objective. As per the Qureshi, when HR and the IT collaborate to achieve organizational efficiency in accordance with the organizational and market trend, as well as good performance pay policy, it might motivate employees to work more in order to recognize for their efforts, which will boost their job satisfaction. How organizational performance and HR analytics, how HR analytics is related to organizational performance. The first is data driven decision. Evidence based HR analytics refers to the practice of using data, evidences, the statistical analysis to inform human resource decision making and strategy. Organization can find easily pattern, trends, and the correlation that help them improve their HR procedure by analyzing employees' data, such as the performance indicators, turnover rate, and the engagement level. Role of HR metrics in organizational goal. As per the Carlson, data from HR metrics reporting is not sufficient to improve managerial decision making. When the decision maker can provide meaning to the data point indicating significant organizational outcome, they become useful. And it's with the help of the HR analytics. By examining numerous data sets and use statistical approach to find connection and patterns, HR analytics can pinpoint performance driver also. These metrics could be anything that can be measured as an indicator of performance, such as sale income, customer satisfaction scores. HR analytics also help in prediction the future. Predictive HR analytics is a technological technique used by HR to analyze past and present data in order to estimate the future outcome of the HR. As per the Mishra, a US wind turbine manufacturer company modified its hiring and the retention strategy when human resource production analytics claimed that women performance was 5% better than men's. Organization can create profile of the high performer and use this data to better the recruitment and selection process by analyzing data on successful hiring and employees performance. As per the Wolford, analytics can be used to forecast employees' productivity, cultural fit, loyalty, engagement, and motivation level even before the employees is hired. HR analytics can play a crucial role in HR retention by providing valuable insights and data-driven strategy to understand, predict, and improve employee retention rates. As per Momin and Mishra, a strategic workforce strategy will lower attrition rate, manage risk, and create a culture of value-added training for the organization with the help of HR analytics. By examining every component of HR metrics, HR analytics enables the organization to build a strategic workforce strategy. And as per the Lahe, it is possible to create a profile of leadership behavior by noting the general job behavior that employees consistently demonstrate and identify the leadership behavior that they exhibit in various contexts. As per the Watson report, it's the application area for talent analytics in India. Like overall in recruitment and retention, 90% HR analytics in use. It's the report of the Watson 2018. In compensation and benefits, 79% HR analytics is used. And in workforce planning, 64% HR analytics is used. It's the literature review, like as per the Kiran et al. Firm in the service sector perform better when HR analytics and the human capital management are integrated through the different approaches. As per the Amir, HR analytics significantly improve organizational performance. Better organizational performance follow from this motivation. And here the employees' motivation is the mediating factor. Employees that exhibit analytical competences and those who have the analytical skills are able to understand, analyze, and interpret data, which has a significant effect on the organization performance in terms of better decision making. As per the PAMCOI, there are the two main. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, here is the literature review and the objective of the study to understand synergy between HR analytics and organization performance and to discuss the mainly role of HR analytics on various practices of human capital management. And basically, this is the review paper. So mainly information is gathered from the literature review and the articles and websites. If we conclude, then there are the various way where the association between HR analytics and organization performance is clear. Employer may efficiently plan their workforce, streamline hiring and selection procedure, improve performance management and employee development, increase employee engagement and retention, and apply predictive analytics also for decision making by employee HR analytics. On the other side, organizational performance focus on evaluating and improving the efficiency of an organization strategy, process, and daily operation. Organization can find chances for growth, solve problem, and manage issue by leveraging the power of data and analytics and HR practices. Overall, organizational performance is improved as a result, which include higher productivity, better talent acquisition and retention, greater employee engagement, improved decision making. Organizations that adopt HR analytics may use data-driven insight, optimize their HR strategies, align their workforce with strategic objective, and create high performance culture that support organizational success. So, sir, here is the reference. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, HR analytics is a mediating factor. HR analytics affect the organizational performance. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
funny बच्चा है बैठ जाए
What's the ma'am second question? Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, basically, this is the review paper. It include how HR analytics affect the recruitment, retention. Then, ma'am, by combining all, it's help in organization performance improvement. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am, actually, I don't know about it. Sorry, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Sir, is my screen visible? My screen not visible. I have opened it. Okay. Now, how can I? Okay. Now is it visible? Okay. Good morning, everyone. My voice is audible, sir? Okay. My research paper's title is Empowering Change, Exploring the Impact of Social Entrepreneurship. In recent years, researchers, politicians, and practitioners have paid close attention to the notion of social entrepreneurship. The convergence of economic principles and social mission has changed traditional concepts of entrepreneurship while also emerging as a powerful force for tackling serious societal concerns. At its heart, social entrepreneurship differs from traditional entrepreneurship's profit maximizing motivations. Instead, it represents a profound commitment to achieving beneficial social change while also ensuring financial sustainability. Solar skylights in Philippine slums use plastic drink bottles filled with water and bleach to offer a unique source of light. My research mainly focuses on the complex effect of social entrepreneurship across several areas, which includes economic, social, and environmental areas. Further, the research also examines the larger institutional and systematic factors that shape the landscape of social entrepreneurship, such as legislative frameworks, funding methods, and cultural norms. The idea of doing well by doing good is fundamental to the concept of social entrepreneurship. It underlines the need of developing sustainable business models that serve social needs while simultaneously ensuring financial sustainability and scalability. Social entrepreneurs seek to establish self-sustaining solutions that are independent of external funding by leveraging market dynamics and innovative ways. Now, what social entrepreneurship has benefits for defense sector? It offers novel solutions. Social on Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, since it is a review paper, so I have mainly considered already written research papers and internet material available on this topic. The objectives of study are to examine the types and approaches to social entrepreneurship across the world, its efficacy in tackling social and environmental concerns. Second objective is to explore the social economic results and transformational potential of successful social entrepreneurship initiatives for individuals, communities, and society as a whole, and to investigate the policy implications and recommendations for creating an enabling environment that promotes and amplifies the beneficial effect of social entrepreneurship efforts. My results includes that the analysis shed light on varied terrains of social entrepreneurship and its far-reaching influence on society. An evaluation of many research and empirical data has revealed that social entrepreneurship plays a critical role in tackling major social and environmental issues. Recognizing this variability is critical for developed personalized interventions and policies to successfully support and expand the impact of social entrepreneurship efforts. Its implications are there on social impact. Analyzing the consequences of social entrepreneurship can provide insight into how it solves societal issues. Economic growth, investing the economic consequences of social entrepreneurship illuminates its role in promoting economic growth. And innovation, societal entrepreneurship frequently incorporates novel methods to solve societal problems, and its influence can spark new ideas and techniques to deal with complicated situations. Then it also helps in community empowerment and education and awareness. Conclusion is like this: the research paper examines social entrepreneurship multifaceted impact, shedding light on its importance in addressing societal challenges, fostering economic development, promoting innovation, and empowering communities. It also helps in influencing policy and shaping institutions. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, sure. The research gaps are like as follows: long-term viability of social entrepreneurship ventures, effective approaches for measuring and evaluating social effect, the influence of government policies in encouraging or discouraging social entrepreneurship, understanding the scalability and replicability of the effective social entrepreneurship models in various settings, and bridging theoretical and practical divide in social entrepreneurship research. Ma'am, basically it's a dynamic topic and there can be more research work done on social entrepreneurship, which is incorporated in almost every sector. Call it social, economic, technological, or environmental. Thank you, ma'am.
Uh, Good morning, everybody.
Hello.
Is my screen visible?
अरे मेरी स्क्रीन विजिबल नहीं हो रही थी.
Ma'am, is my screen visible? Okay, fine. Just okay. Okay. Is it visible now? Is okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. I'm Debasmita Sarkar, PhD research scholar at this University, Kolkata. My title is From Campus to Corporate, Assessing the Impact of New Age HRM Employee Engagement Practices on Perceived Stress and Life Satisfaction Among MBA Interns in India. I'll be very short and crisp with my presentation. Now, this topic revolves around investigating the transformative journey of MBA interns from leading colleges in Kolkata. Basically, the colleges are in Kolkata on whom I'm doing this research. So they are doing internship in different parts of India, online or hybrid mode, and also in offline mode. So this study is about their transition from campus to the corporate world, because internship happens to be their first step towards the corporate world, where they learn how to tackle the real life workplace situation. And my research is primary, basically, it will be beneficial for HR students because I'm studying the HRM practices, which the new age HR could follow, new age employee engagement initiatives. And the study explores the intricate relationship between these strategies, perceived stress levels, and life satisfaction. Because in new age HRM policies, we believe in creating a very compassionate human resource policy in companies. All the companies are focusing on life satisfaction, on decreasing the stress levels of employees and increasing productivity. So basically, the keywords are new age HRM practices, employee engagement, perceived stress, life satisfaction on MBA interns. By new age HRM engagement practices, I'll just give some brief examples like flexibility, time flexibility, venue flexibility, like online, offline, or hybrid mode, wellness programs, prioritizing employees' health and well-being, continuous learning and development, arranging, faculty development programs and, training programs for them, conducting, involving a POSH trainer in the system and giving them POSH training, recognition and awards and rewards
system acknowledge and appreciating and rewarding the employee contributions, open communication challenge in the channels in between all the hierarchies of the management, and everybody should have access to the higher management, and they should be able to, put forward their views and opinions. Diversity and inclusion, because not only males and females, we are also extending our workplaces towards the other genders. We want the workplace to be a very safe place for everybody to function and be very, very productive. So literature review, I'll not spend too much of time on this because I have already incorporated a very, exaggerated literature review already in my extended abstract which I have presented. Proposed research methodology. So see, there's a loophole. The problem is that obviously key works have been done in strategic HRM policies, but image HRM policies. But the very new HRM policies, especially after COVID, everything has become hybrid on like offline mode. Also, it has become, and we are presenting also online. This provision was normally it was not there before the COVID, and also this kind of research primarily, especially it has not been done on interns. Basically, it has either been done on students or full-fledged employees of organizations. So that is one loophole that I want to work on. Now, this is a working paper. I have already mentioned I'm working on the paper. So obviously there might be a lot of loopholes. I would like expert comments on how to make this paper, relevant. So the proposed methodology is I will approach, my sample size is 100 female and male MBA interns from Kolkata-based MBA colleges, currently undergoing their internship programs in various organizations in India. And mixed method approach will be adopted to ensure a comprehensive understanding of the research questions. My independent variable will be new age HR and employee engagement practices. Dependent variables will be perceived stress and life satisfaction. Control variables will be demographic factors like gender, age, and industry. Measurement tools will be employee engagement scales and perceived stress scale and life satisfaction scales. So the proposed methodology is basically quantitative data collection through survey instruments and sampling and data collection, online surveys, and I would make sure that the confidentiality is maintained. I will discuss the ethical considerations as well. A random sampling will be employed, and I'll make sure that the questionnaire assessing variables such as employee engagement, perceived stress, and life satisfaction is used. Qualitative data collection is very important in this because a new age HRM policy primarily focused on stress reduction and compassion, kindness, and feelings and emotions and emotional intelligence and life skills, basically. So feelings are not something which always can be quantified. They can be qualified as well. So we need to conduct interviews and sampling and data collection as well. So which will be done. And this is a proposed methodology, basically. So I would employ for quantitative analysis, descriptive statistics, and correlation and regression analysis, qualitative, thematic content analysis and all. So I will have a discussion with my guide and co-guide. I'm not very good at data analysis as of now, I admit. So I'll have to, for methodology, I will have to discuss with my guide and co-guide, and they will give me the right kind of guidance on how to proceed with this paper. Ethical considerations like obtain informed consent from participants, ensure confidentiality, and adhere to ethical guidelines and institutional review board protocols. So basically, hypothesis is already discussed in my extended abstract submission. I will discuss the implications of how it can be beneficial for the new age HRs or the employees or the interns or those students, MBA students who are stepping out into the workplace for the first time and they don't have work experience before. Organizational improvements, employee well-being, retention, job satisfaction, strategic HRM planning, gender and diversity considerations, very important. Communication strategies, leadership development for future HRs. Because this is very important, whenever we are doing a paper, we should, when my guide tells me, we should always think that how our paper is going to be relevant in the practical world. So I want the paper to really be relevant for future HRs, especially the HRs. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, like one variable is there, perceived stress is there in my thesis variable, but the other variables are not there. I'm working with perceived stress. So that variable is there. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, basically, yes, ma'am, I'm coming to that. Basically, time flexibility, ma'am, most important. Like about that, I'm seeing a lot of students in our college also, they are very concerned that whether that work flexibility, time flexibility will be given to them, especially for working mothers. I have seen that they would like, flexibility of timing and they like to work hybrid mode. So certain companies and HR policies allow that and certain HR policies do not allow that. So I want to work with that to see whether it is more productive or less productive if that time flexibility and venue flexibility is given to employees. So then I would like to do a gender study also. That is it more productive for the males or the females? It is more productive. So that one interesting study could be done. Number one. Number two, wellness programs, ma'am. I have seen many corporates, they are hiring, counselors for like, stress management workshops and NLP workshops, basically neuro-linguistic workshops. So I want to delve into that whether these are really productive or they are gimmicks or they are like really productive for an organization and really they are imparting some kind of creativity, productivity to the workplace, really helping the employees or not in being whether they are getting more life satisfaction and job satisfaction out of this, and if the real difference is not being made, then what kind of wellness programs can we make so that it really becomes relevant. And ma'am, recognition and a reward system is another one thing that I want to take up, that I want to see that whether appreciation and rewards and this giving award like best employee of the year and these all things, whether they are really relevant in workplaces. Do they really make a difference or they don't make a difference? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, that is why, like, I know that there might be loopholes in this paper. So, because this is a basic idea that I am having, basic abstract that I have submitted for the proposal, and later on, of course, I would like your views on how to make it. Like, there might be loopholes. I understand that that I have to discuss with my guide. That might be like one of the loopholes. It might be because I want to take up gender. I want to study how that influences new age HRM practices. But I have to see how I can do it. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Ma'am, I have worked in organizations. So even as an employee also, I feel, if you will ask me first-hand experience, that our work has become very like one of our priorities in life for all of us. Now, if something goes wrong at work, might be a small, tiff with my senior or my boss or have some kind of problem. I have seen that interferes with my daily activities for a day or two. So I personally do, like, necessity is the mother of invention. As an employee, I have felt. So as a researcher, I feel, why not make a real difference there? Like, because if the workplace is comfortable for people to work, so they are generally in a very happy state of mind. So they come back home in a happy state of mind. So it becomes easy for them to connect with their family members also. When a person is stressed, I have myself seen that. Me or my husband, like if we are stressed, so it becomes a little difficult that day, we feel a little sad, a little stressed. So I feel that both our personal life and professional lives are a little connected. How much ever we want to keep it separate, but still it gets connected somewhere down the line. I have felt that, like personally, I have felt that. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, sir. 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 So perceived stress and life satisfaction, we have proper scales where we can quantify them. Basically, new age HRM employee practices will not be something which I can quantify apparently, because they are like separate, like as ma'am said, which are the three that I want to take up. So I mentioned three. So I will have to see some kind of survey or questionnaire. That way I'll be able to do this, because quantify, obviously I cannot quantify basically new age HRM practices. I can't quantify. I can quantify stress, perceived stress, life satisfaction, that I can. New age HRM employee engagement practices, I will have to, rely on surveys and questionnaires on what are the practices which are being undertaken. So that I'll have to see. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody.
Hello, good morning everyone. This is Harshita Sharma from MIT University, Lucknow. Am I audible? Hello. Okay, good morning everyone. This side Harshita Sharma from MIT University, Lucknow. My topic is digital transformation and fraud resilience, a case study of self-service technology adapted by banking sector. Firstly, I would like to tell everyone what is digital transformation. It is basically a shift towards digital technologies and innovative strategies reshape how financial services are delivered these days. As we have seen post COVID, digital services have enhanced. Like earlier, if I can say, as here, management students are also present who are, I believe, looking out for a good topic. So I would like to even provide. Sorry, sir. My PPT. Okay, sir, please wait for a second. Let me reconnect it. Do I need to share the screen? Okay, please wait for a second. Please wait for a second. I was working from my mobile phone. That's why it's a bit problematic. Just give me a second. I'm so sorry to everyone for the inconvenience. Sorry for the inconvenience. I'm trying to connect it, but I'm facing again and again. I believe it's connecting. Just give me a second. I'm sorry, I'm unable to share it, so I'm directly starting with it so that none of us time is wasted. And also sorry for the inconvenience. So my topic is digital transformation and fraud as a study of self-service technologies adapted by the banking sector. I hope I am audible. Okay. So digital transformation basically means the shift towards digital technologies and also adapting innovative strategies to so that we can easily dwell into these transformation. This transformation has taken place after the COVID phase, when we can see that earlier, if I'm talking about digital transformation in banking sector, there were ATMs, kiosk facilities, even wallet facility was also there. But this sector has taken boost after the COVID period. When I talk about here financial literacy, people were not much literate about the digital services which were being provided. But after the COVID phase, people have started adapting these technologies. So after people have adapting these technologies, as these technologies are sorry, these services are more in use. Like earlier, if I can say, small vendors like fruit sellers, rickshaw pullers were not having these digital services. But post COVID period, they have adapted these services. So here we can see how digital transformation is enhancing. Also, financial literacy among people for these services is also enhancing. But apart from this, there are also increase in number of frauds in these sectors, because when I talk about financial literacy, people here, small vendors, are literate only about the services. Like there are so many videos rolling on, like easily people fraud these vendors. They say they have paid the payment for the purchases, but the vendor is unable to check it, and later on it's seen that he didn't receive that payment. One sort of fraud is this. Another is people who are aware that that person is not much aware about the financial digital service. They try to fool them by knowing their pins, ATM pins. Like easily it is these days, people call and tell, I'm speaking from XYZ bank and your ATM has been blocked. If you wanted to work, I'm speaking on behalf of bank. You need to share your ATM pin. So people easily share. So in this era of AI, I can say that this digital fraud has increased very easily. So here, fraud resilience basically means proactive monitoring, advanced authentication, data encryption, and fraud detection algorithm, and incident response planning, which is to be directed by the banking sector. As I'm talking here about banking sector, so I think banks should do much reliance on these services, though RBI is there to monitor everything, but still every bank should also have separate security measures reason where people can easily go and interact with the bank so that there is some fraud issue that can be resolved easily. Then why there is growing concern related to fraud in this SPT service, which is self-service technologies in banks. There are many self-service technologies currently, like if I can say that if we are going to a metro station, there are metro tickets. Sorry, if we are going to metro station, there are machines through which we can easily transact on our own. We don't need to get anyone's assistance. So that is also a self-service technology. Then at airports, we are getting self-service technology. Then if we are talking about banking sector, self-service technologies are those in which we don't need anyone's assistance. So in banking, like ATMs are there, kiosk facilities there, then our wallet system is there, internet banking is there, mobile banking is there. So what is the growing concern of these STTs and banks? Currently, it's card skimping, tampering, phishing attacks, malware attacks, remote hacking, biometric spoofing, and inadequate user authentication is also there. So if I'm saying here that self-service technology is currently growing, self fraud sector growing concern. So these are few of the things, and this is also growing due to the AI invention. Sorry, I was disconnected due to work issue. Am I audible? Sorry, sir, please pardon. Sir, in the conclusion, I would like to say that the banking sector is growing, and with the invention of AI and digital transformation, this sector is booming nowadays. Banks are coming with more new facilities, and with these facilities and growing AI inventions, the fraud is also taking up more speed. So I would like to conclude that if I'm talking about Indian banks, they do not always need to. My recommendation is that they always know they do not need to always be like dependent on RBI. Instead, I believe more and more security measures should be taken. Private organizations should be set up for the fraud detection of that is occurring in the banking sector, especially the STT services. Thank you. Thank you.
you.